And a father facing jail time after speaking his mind. Find out why this man was escorted out of a public meeting in handcuffs.
Parents, you need to question these people. Do the research, it's online. Top 10.
Okay, so the next question to our panel.
A Maryland parent dragged out of a public meeting and slapped in cuffs and wound up in jail for questioning the school's hotly debated Common Core curriculum. Robert Small was charged with second-degree assault of a police officer. He faces a fine and up to 10 years behind bars for asking what he calls inconvenient questions.
My question is, how is lowering America's educational standards preparedness for community college? Because that's what it's all about. Because you mentioned before, the emphasis is, and I have some stuff here to quote before this guy tries to carry me out.
Okay.
But, hey, listen, parents, take control. We're sitting, this is not a CNN political debate. Let's go.
Let him ask his question.
This is what I will say, in fairness to everyone who asked questions, we do have some that are dovetailing to that.
Let him ask his question.
So the next question. So this is a dovetail.
Don't stand for this. You're sitting here like cattle. You have questions. You confront them. They don't want to do it in public.
Okay, the next.
Excuse me, buddy. Hey, is this America?
Yeah, it turns out the security guard was actually an off-duty police officer as well. All right, here to talk about this, Lise Wheel, Fox News legal analyst. This is another situation where things got really heated pretty quickly.
On video, right.
And it's caught on video. I mean, this dad was taken to jail in handcuffs. He says he was just trying to ask questions. But, you know, the school board folks there say there was a protocol. You had to turn in a written question. Yeah, he didn't follow.
Yes, he did not follow the protocol of the written question. He submitted questions, and he wasn't getting those questions answered. This was a public forum, a public place, talking about public schools and something that was going to affect all of these parents. Now, I have to admit, I have a bias. I have two kids that have gone through public school, or one is still going through public school. And so I can imagine the frustration that you go to. You're supposed to be in this place where you should be, your questions should be answered. At least you could ask something, have the forum, because otherwise the curriculum is just kind of shoved down your throat. This parent got mad. Did he act in the appropriate way for the protocol? No. But did you also hear, Shannon, though, the other people there say, let him ask his question. Why couldn't he ask his question?
Yeah, and he said there, hey, isn't this America? And he said, don't be sheep, don't sit there and be cattle.
First Amendment.
You have to ask these questions. You have to be able to push. I mean, clearly he was very frustrated with the process. And when he was, apparently someone spoke with him about, hey, they had a written way that you had to turn them in. And he said, no, my questions weren't getting asked because I had the tough ones, the inconvenient ones.
The inconvenient ones are not going to necessarily be answered, because you know as well as I do, when you take those questions in a written forum, they can take the ones they want.
Look at it and be like, not that one. Put that away.
The next one.
Yeah.
And so anything that's controversial, that's not going to go easily, because the school administrators, they have on their mind, they want to pass this through, this core curriculum. And many other states now are doing that.
Yeah.
They want to pass that through. They don't want inconvenient parents like this. So I think the fact that this man is now facing 10 years, as you said, and of course he'll never get anything like that, but facing, even having to go through this, when all he's trying to do there in a public place is voice his First Amendment rights to ask about his kid's education.
Yeah, and you can see in the video there, the man in security does confront him. Apparently, one of the panelists, and maybe it was the superintendent there, had an assistant or somebody approach and say, please, have security, have this man go out. He did apparently kind of push back against that and say, like, I'm trying to ask my question. The officer at one point, you can see he's an off-duty officer. He takes out his police badge and he shows him. But the dad keeps trying to, I'm just trying to ask a question. But he ended up in handcuffs.
And because you have an off-duty police officer, the police officer, I think,
different stakes.
Different stakes, exactly. You bring that in, and it really should have been dismantled at that point. Just let him ask his question. When you hear in that audience, everybody's saying, let him ask his question. They're all, Shannon, they're there as parents.
Yeah.
They're there because they want answers to these tough questions. And gliding over things is not going to do that.
Yeah, well, Robert Small made his point. We will follow his case and certainly see what happens, and we'll do an update. Thanks, Lise.